Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Not Church, where we encourage people to think that there is a fine line between lying and having faith. On my journey, I've learned a lot, and some of the things that I thought I knew, I was completely wrong. And I imagine that there's others out there that's just like me. But these things about faith, man, like I'm believing God. I'm believing God for my healing. Or we'll say, I know that I am healed because I believe it, so I receive it. All of these things, as Black American African people, bless our hearts, because you can convince a person when I'm believing God in the name of Jesus. Man, when they get that stuck in their mind, it's so hard to get them away from that in terms of their stubbornness. But these things will cause you to lie to yourself. I'm believing God in the name of Jesus blocks everything out. It blocks everything out. You won't receive anything. Nobody can tell you nothing. Can't nothing get in and can't nothing get out. That's the first lie. Because we're always learning and growing. And we can grow and learn from anybody. Anybody. And we can grow and learn from any religion. But when you block people out as if your truth is the truth, you already lied to yourself. Because history shows that it's not so. That's the first lie. The second way we lie to ourselves is we sometimes get so enthralled in the life after that we live a life that's solely focused on living the life after, ignoring the current life that God blessed us with. How much bigger can a lie be than that? We're not saying, wait a minute now, don't turn the channel. Don't turn the channel. We're not saying that you ain't going to heaven. We're not saying that you ain't going to paradise. We ain't saying that God ain't creating a better earth after this one. We're saying that you are lying to yourself if you are ignoring the life that is in front of you. Some people get so enthralled with that life that they say, well, I'm going to just stay in this marriage I don't want to be in because it's going to be better. I'm just going to stay single in this life for as long because I'll have a husband in the next life. I'm just going to take this sickness and I'm not going to take any medication at all because I just know that it's going to be better by and by. You're lying to yourself. You lying to yourself in a way that is the worst lie because you can't get that time back. And it really bothers me because, I spent 10 years of my life serving other people to the bones of my hands, giving my resources, affecting my family by pulling resources from my family to give to strangers. Because of a lie that I had in my mind, that I had to do this because it's God's will. When it really wasn't God's will. It is not God's will for you to take time away from your family. Take resources from your children's and your wife's mouth to help somebody else. If you can't help your family, you cannot be a help to anybody else. Not a good one anyway, and definitely not a true one. So these kind of lies, they permeate people's mind and they have people in a state of literal hypnosis. I call it spiritual hypnosis. They're not living reality. They're living lies. This is another lie. Because when you live this hybrid spiritual falsity life, You cannot be true to who you really are. You lose your person in that. You lose your personality. You become something else. Way out of touch with you. You know, I heard one person said, if you want to get to the truth of who you really are, go back to your childhood. And because in your childhood time was the most truest time you've ever lived. Because you had no reasons to lie. You had the less tainting on your personality. You just didn't think about these things. You just was you. And some of us need to just go back to being you. Just go back to being who you are. You gotten lost in this lie of religion. And it's sad because we wonder why African people who live in America can't advance forward. You ain't gonna advance forward till you get in focus yourself. Who you are. You have two eyes, but one vision. God gave you that. The reality of God is life itself. The only thing that is sure is life and death. You know this, people. You know this. And it hurts. It hurts to see my people lost. Because we want to believe something so bad. You got women in marriages that they should not be in. There was a pastor in not long, I would say this may have happened 7-8 years ago. Some of us probably remember. It may have been longer than that. May have been 10 years ago. And this pastor and this pastor's wife, they're in front of the church. They're preaching, they're serving and doing all that. The preacher's now locked up in prison and his wife is dead. Found in the trunk of his car. They were living a lie. Obviously, they were living a lie. And I'm saying there's women in marriages because they believe. As far as you know, you got one life to be happy. And you shouldn't risk your life in the name of so-called faith on this planet and die early over a fool that don't care about you anyway. That's a lie. Don't be deceived. In our own Bibles, we're reading how crafty these lies can be. And they're so crafty that they can put the word craft in your face and have you thinking that the word crafty means uncrafty. You got to be careful that you don't slip over from your faith to lies. Put your faith in perspective. Faith in perspective is intelligent faith. And there's nothing wrong with having intelligent faith. There is something wrong with having blind faith, silly faith, stupid faith, dumb faith, faith that don't benefit you, faith that don't benefit your family, faith that don't benefit people, faith that's splitting up your family it's a lie. It ain't real faith. Faith should not divide. It should bring together. Our God is one God. I just want us to get this. I love the church. I love God's people. And I know that God is true. And there is no lies in God. Before God cannot lie. You know that. You do not have to read that in a book. You know that God cannot lie. So if it's a lie, it is not of God. Simple. And the way that you find out lies from truth is deep study, historical study. I'm going to tell you another thing too. There's a truth in the Bible that cannot be denied. But if you read it wrong, you could be lying to yourself using the Bible all day long. I'm going to say that again. But if you read it wrong, you could be lying to yourself reading the Bible all day long. Thank you for tuning in to this session of Not Church. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. And remember, it's okay. Think through this, people. Till we meet again. Everybody won't be on top. Yeah. Whether the roof or the mountaintop. Right.